So I want to welcome everybody to another event here hosted by ARC AI and our teams of the NeuroStreet ecosystem. My name is Sean Kozak. I'm one of the co-founders of ARC. And this webinar is, well, it's a launch event, but it's an unorthodox presentation. And I'm excited to share the story around this because everybody loves a good story. Right, everybody loves a good story. Everybody loves an exciting kind of leadway into exciting things, and I guess you'd say profitable environments. And what I want to do is I want to give you a little backstory. So, how many of you guys are using at least 5 of our products? You know, maybe supply and demand, volume profile, order flow, trend lines, you name it. I mean, you guys are all using the tools we've built, right? But what you don't know is the developers. The developers behind the scenes, right? I've got teams, I've got people, I've got really qualified help, very blessed to have them. And a little while back, one of our developers contacted me and said, hey, Sean, you guys are a really big vendor, got a lot of traders, you got a huge store with ARC AI's website. And I think I've got something that you're going to want to take a look at. I said, okay. I get a lot of people, including staff and partners and vendors, and everybody comes to me with ideas. And I always give everybody a chance. I always want to hear what everybody has. I mean, you never know until you know. And so, long story short, my dev teams and I met with Ben, one of our programmers, and he showed us the Structure Boss software. And I said, whoa, where did this come from? Right. Blown away. I was blown away by what it is. It takes a lot to kind of move my attention span. We develop a lot of products, pretty high class tools, algorithms, indicators. How many of you guys would think that some of our tool sets are quite sophisticated compared to the standard indicators that you would normally buy? Right. I'd like to think that that's a common thread amongst our inventory of products. And so it would really take something of really excitement to kind of impress me. And I was impressed very quickly because not only are we going to launch the product, we've partnered with the developer. We're going to be selling it directly through ARC because of its merit. And I was blown away by it. Normally it takes a while to find something really, really profitable. Not only is the software cutting edge, it's got a semi-automated backtesting component to that so that you can actually validate the performance of the indicator before ever trading it. And it's kind of on a cross between an indicator and an algorithm. It's not a fully automated system, but I can almost guarantee, with a 99% of certainty, Jeff, that we'll probably be moving this to an algo, given the ability and given the performance that I've seen on the S&P and the NASDAQ on the settings that you sent me. I think it's very, very efficient. So that's kind of the backstory. I'm not trying to hype this. It's the truth behind, how we kind of got to want to present this. We didn't actually build this, so we're actually a partner in this event. And it takes a lot for us to want to get behind promoting and selling somebody else's product because it needs to be amazing in order for us to want to do that. So long story short, we're going to launch what we call the Structure Boss. And it's semi-automated software with performance metrics built into it. And we're going to kick things off just due to the fact that, it's got performance metrics. We need to cover disclaimers. I'm not here to guarantee anything, but we will definitely educate and showcase details on the products and the services and the resources that we provide. Can everybody give me a Y in the chat box that you agree to the disclaimer? We're all professionals here, and everybody here understands the business more than I do sometimes, and that should be enough for you guys to at least understand and accept that. Can't guarantee future performance, and past performance never guarantees future results. So now we got that out of the way. Simply put, we're going to keep it real simple. I think the most excitement is going to be in the demo. But long story short, structure, if you've ever been in, some of you in our GAP program, you've heard of structure mapping, drawing zigzags, market structure, swing highs and lows, patterns, you name it, double tops, double bottoms. There's a really big level of subjectivity because structure, and depending on how you're looking at the market, you can get a lot of liquidity sweeps, false breakouts. One person will look at the market and say, hey, this is support, while the other guy's saying, wait a second, that's resistance on another time frame. And it just really makes it difficult to implement unless you have a hard-coded strategy or some form of an algorithm that's going to basically detect it automatically. and be predictive. I think this is really important because what we're going to show you is actually predictive. It actually predicts the trades in advance. It actually shows you where to enter and put your targets and your stop losses. And it provides you the back tests and the performance of the tool set based off the time frame and the bar type that you're trading it on, which is unbelievably amazing. I'm just super pumped about this because it actually takes a lot of the heavy lifting away without even having an algorithm coded. So we're going to be solving these problems because the Structure Boss was designed to basically fix every one of these and make it super user-friendly and easy. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just go through a list, as I think sometimes we learn better in a linear fashion. I think it's really easy for me to just talk about these independently. How many of you guys have heard us talk about structure mapping? If you've ever been in the GAP programs, or if you've ever been in our SMC classes, or if you've ever been in, how many of you guys are familiar with what we call structure mapping, where we map out the structure, we plot the strong highs and lows, and we plot the zigzags, and we plot the internal and the major structure, etc. This is a form of automated structure mapping because it automatically maps out all of the structure that's required for the software. You don't have to do anything. It's 100% automating the analysis for you, and it will automatically chart the patterns. Now, this is not a standard reversal pattern indicator. There's many different mathematical variations of the patterns, and it really just depends on the swings, and it depends on the ABC corrective waves inside the analysis. So there is a form of wave analysis, there's a form of patterns, there's a form of ABC corrective analysis built into this. And what it's doing is it's essentially mapping out chart patterns, and you're able to forecast the breakout signals from those patterns. And what we're doing is we're basically semi-automated the trading. The reason we call it semi-automated is because we're just not automating the execution. I think maybe V2 may go to that direction, or we may just code it as a separate algo. However, for the most part, this will do everything except for execute the trades at this time. Now, it will plot your stops. It will tell you where to plot your targets. It will tell you everything. And it's all based on mathematics. It's all based on the pattern. It'll also plot your trailing stops. It'll also plot your position sizing. It'll also map out everything with regards to alerts. It's got a fully integrated backtesting engine, which we're going to talk about in a lot of detail today, because it's not just about an indicator. It's, can you show me that it's a successful system to trade? And I'm going to give this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stars out of 5. And you're going to see why performance is performance. It is what it is. So you can't fudge it. You can go back and take a look at all the setups, and math is math. 1 + 1 = 2. So you're going to be able to see an instant P&L display on the chart because it's actually got a customized display graph, which we're going to be going over into tomorrow's AMA. But this is applicable to whatever time frame and market you apply it on. Now, I've got a workspace. I'm going to do a demo today where we filmed a 7-minute video on trade examples. We're going to use that so that I can be more aware of your guys' time, and we can basically be more, I guess you'd say, cognizant of everybody's day. And then what we'll do is I'm going to show you examples tomorrow on the back testing side, and I get Jeff and the guys will be doing some stuff on performance graphs tomorrow as well. But the key here is that we've got it mapped out on the S&P and the NASDAQ on range charts right now because it's very easy to see the structure on range bars. But I mean, you could put this on volume charts, time-based charts, Renko charts. It's auto-adaptive to whatever you apply it. And what's nice is you never have to guess. It works on tick charts. Absolutely, Gary. But here's the thing. You can take away the guessing. Why? Because if you apply this to a chart and you're like, well, I wonder if it works, or I wonder if I should trade it on this strategy, we can plot. You're going to see there's going to be a performance visual here that's just going to plot right here. It's going to take over the left sidebar of the charts, and it's going to tell you all the statistics on that chart, on that time frame, on that market. And it works on every asset class, every market, which is amazing. Now, the key here is that there's 2 modes. We have reversal mode and trending mode. So if you're wondering, well, if the market's trending, what do? Put it in a trending mode. If you can see that the market's oscillating, put it in reversal mode. End of story. And here's an example of some images, of trend trades and reversals. It's really kind of difficult for us to see the potential just in this image because every pattern's different. Like there's different variations, different legs, different measured moves. So the best thing is to just demo it and show it to you so you guys can see without me having to kind of explain it into minute details. So here's an example of a long setup. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to just walk you through the process. Step one is it maps out the pattern. It finds a pattern. It plots the entry. It plots the stop loss. It tells you where to buy in advance. In advance. Now here's the key here. In advance. And then it plans your exit based off the measured move of that target. So what's going to happen is it's going to basically give you the trade plan in step one. It's going to tell you where to enter the trade. So you enter the trade. It's going to put your targets and it's going to put your stop loss directly on the chart with a trail stop and a trail stop dot directly in here. Okay. I see a lot of questions, guys. Let me do the presentation. We'll do some Q&A at the end, guys. I know it gets exciting. We have hundreds of people here. Please bear with me. I'm assuming we'll get all of that mapped out and we'll address it. Step two is the entry. So now you're in the trade, right? Step one is the plan. Forecasting in advance. You have time to place your trades in advance. That's the best part for this entire strategy, is that everything is visually mapped out in advance. You can see where the trades are in advance. How many of you guys like pre-planning your trades? If you like supply and demand, or you like volume profile, or you like anything where you can plan your trades in advance, you know exactly what you're doing in advance. You're not reacting to the market. This is what I loved about this. When I look at stuff like this, I say, well, okay, it's good. You know, it's not the good. This is what really was like, wow, okay, it does everything. And we haven't even got to the fun part, which is the performance. And so step three is the holding period. It's going to tell you the trailing stops. Okay. It's going to map those out. It's going to tell you where to put your trailing stop. And it's going to show you where the exit is. So you can basically map out the exit. Does everybody understand how simple that is? Step one is the plan. Step two is the entry. Step three is the targets and the stops. Step four is the exit. And it's that simple on every single strategy setup that the software provides. Does everybody understand that four-step process? Give me a yes if that made sense to you. What I love about this is that it's liquid easy, like it's like smooth, it flows, there's no confusion. The software does everything for you, okay? Yeah, I can definitely do that. Let me just maximize this. Can everybody, let me try that. Does that work for everybody a little bit better? Try that. How's that work? Like that? Is that a little bit easier? Thanks, guys. Yep. So here's a great example of step one, step two, step three, and step four. What's nice is that the software plots it all in advance, so you can pre-plan everything. Okay. And et cetera. Now you can exit based on your trail. You can exit based off of the target. You can exit however you choose, but this is all mapped out in advance for you. Now, let's go to the short. Here's an example. Different pattern, different size of the pattern, different size of the zigzag. Everything's different. Step one is the setup. There's the pattern. It highlights the pattern on your chart based off the measured move in the calculation. It projects the entry. So it's telling you way in advance, like current price is here, right? It's telling us, hey, look, we're getting ready to short this bad boy. You've got time to plan your entry, time to know where your stop loss is, know exactly where the measured move is. It comes in, it does it zigzag. You got a lot of time for the market to do its thing, and then boom, that's the entry. It just breaks the structure level where it tells you to enter. Now you're in the trade. And then one of the things that I like about the way that Jeff has set up the demo workspace, everybody will get the demo workspace, which you want this demo workspace. It's liquid. It's amazing. It was so smooth. And then ultimately you've got the holding period. It's going to map out your trailing markers. So you don't have to hold to the target. You could trail your stop if you choose to, but it really just depends. What I like about Jeff's settings is he's got a very tight trail. So if it doesn't work in your favor right away, you're out of the trade. Like there's no confusion, like it's either working or it's done. And I don't know if that was done on purpose, Jeff, or if it was just what you found to be great on the NASDAQ and the S&P.
Yeah, you know, you have this backtesting engine, so you can play with that setting. And we found that that particular trail was the best, or one of the best.
Exactly. Well, it just blows you away. The profit factor is insane. So let's go in here and take a look at a long reversal. These were trending setups, a short trend setup. Let's take a look at a long reversal. This is a completely different size pattern, and it's going to give you a completely different ABC corrective wave reversal. And what it's doing is it's going to plot the pattern. Step one, it finds a pattern. It tells you you're down here. It says, hey, look way up here. When we get through there, you're going to enter this trade. It gets through there, you take the entry. It tells you where the stop loss is, where the targets are, and it allows you to trail your stop however you choose. You can tighten that trail, you can loosen that trail. It can all be done in the settings. And then you get to exit the trade accordingly. So these are just step-by-step trade plan procedures, right? This is the whole process of that. And here's another example of a short. So short reversal, it plots the pattern. It finds it for you. It tells you, hey, wait a second, we've got an amazing reversal coming. You can see how this pattern was up here at that time, and we're planning on going short. And you're going to see that it took its time. It did its thing. You had a lot of time. Boom, you take the trade on the entry. Now it tells you where your stop loss are and your targets, and then you have the ability to trail your stop loss. You see this one trailed well. It just trended very, very, very well. Even though it was a reversal, the trailing stop went into a trend. And it's that simple. Like, it's a 4-step process for every single trade. What I loved about it was 100% semi-automated from start to finish. You don't have any questions, any subjectivity. There's no confusion as to where the entry is, where the stop losses are, where the targets are, and whether or not they're consistent, right? And that's a big question we're going to talk about. Okay. So let's talk about dollar risk sizing. Essentially, we have the ability to automatically map out position sizing because it maps out all of your forecasts. It tells you based on the size of your stop for every single trade, because every pattern is slightly different. The markets are never consistently the same. Because it maps out the entire trade plan, it'll tell you in advance how big your lot sizes need to be based on the market that you're trading. Right. And so if you take a look at this example, like this is on the S&P on an 8-range chart, this pattern is a different size than this one. The stop loss and the targets would be different. Same market, same time frame, same everything, but the pattern is slightly different. So you're going to see here is this one here tells you lot 1, lot 2. Same risk pretty much within $50 because the position sizing is probably set to a specific size on the amount. Fixed dollar risk, right? And therefore you can set that up in advance so that all of your sizing and all of your patterns are consistent. And it basically allows you to put money management at the forefront of your business. You really want to have something that can forecast that, because if not, you're just guessing, especially if you're prop trading, right? And what I really love about this is that it works really good on intraday timeframes. It's really good for day trading. Really, really good for day trading. So here's the fun part. Okay. This is the most important part to me. Patterns are great. Zigzags are great. Plans are great. But unless the market is profitable, or unless you can show me that, hey, like this has an edge, it's just great software, right? It's just like flashy bells and whistles. How many of you guys would agree that you can have flashy bells and whistles all day long, but unless you can show me that it's got merit, what's the freaking point? Give me a yes if that makes sense. Are we in agreement on that? Right? Unless you can show me that the software can generate a consistent, profitable backtest or performance metrics so that, hey, I even trust using it, why the hell would you even care? I don't care how flashy it is. I don't care how much features you have or whatever, or how much hype it is. It all boils down to the numbers, right? Which is why a lot of people look at algorithms, because algos have the ability to backtest. Algos have the ability to give you some level of comfort. This was the number one reason why I decided to partner with our developer on this and bring this to market and distribute it to our members, because I felt that not only was the software sophisticated, the backtesting component was amazing. And it allows you to break down all of the settings. This is a setting, this window here can be turned on or off. So you can use it at when, but every time you change the market or the time frame, all your performance metrics are going to change, because the patterns are going to be different. The settings are going to be different. Whatever you tested on is going to be different. So you can see here, this is the parameters for the strategy settings. You have a reversal setting set in place. It's telling you, you know, the swing settings and all. We'll talk about how to set it up in the AMA, and we'll go through all that. You don't have to worry about that. We've got defaults already pre-configured, and I'll show you the workspace to give you the best out of the box cookie cutter, go trade with it tomorrow kind of deal. But here's the real kicker, right? It goes into the metrics. So what it's going to do is it's going to tell you your win-loss ratio. So there's an 85% hit rate. Okay. It's going to tell you your ratio from longs to shorts. It's going to tell you your total P&L. It's going to tell you your average win to loss. It's going to tell you your profit factor and your performance per contract. And it's going to tell you on the current time, like maybe you load this on a 10 tick bar and maybe you only load, I don't know how many days, like 4 or 5 days, maybe 4 or 5 days of data. How many of you guys only load a few days? If you're trading the NASDAQ or the S&P, you're not loading 30 days of tick data, right? When you're trading live, you can load the back test and you can load it on, let's say 30 days, get yourself, the good performance that you're looking for, and then cut that down to say like 3 days and just run your charts. For this example, we're using it as a demo. This has 4 days of data on it. And it's telling us that it's making on average $400 a day. Okay. It tells us your MAE and your MFE. It tells us your average trade size and time. Average trade is about 1 to 2 minutes long for this setting. It's on an 8 tick bar on the NASDAQ, 10 tick bar. It's a pretty fast chart. But here it also breaks you down performance by day of week. It literally does everything that NinjaTrader's backtesting engine does inside of it. It maps out how many trades per ticks you're getting per day, how many wins you're getting per day, the percentage, the money you've made per day. And then it also gives you your drawdown statistics, like how many drawdowns did you have on the life of this time frame or on this chart, right? And essentially, what that overall drawdown exposure was to your market. Now, why is this important? Like really, why would it be important? Well, because everybody's going to want to look at their performance. So this is also part of the software. This comes with the ability to visually see the performance as visualized graphs directly into the chart. We also have the ability to distribute the long and short trade distributions in profit distributions on the chart. So when I mean this, it is amazing, Ben. Yeah, it is absolutely amazing. And this is when I said, okay, great software. When I seen this, I was like, holy frick, man. Like I didn't build this. My developers built this. I just didn't know they built it. Right? So this is what's nice is because it does everything for you. It does everything for you. The other thing too is it's basically pre-caching the data when you load the chart. So I get a question Jennifer's asking about lag on the system. This is already pre-cached data. So when you load the chart, it loads all of the data once and then it's done. So you're not sitting there loading it on the fly and consistently because all of this performance data is historical. Yeah, historical data. So you'll see here that we've got performance metrics. We have the ability to visually see the different graphs, and these all represent different metrics that the software is producing and different time of days in the overall P&L graph. This is mapping out your profitability by the time of day. So you got a time of day distribution metric as well as a long short distribution analysis. Okay. And so here's the, like, this is when I talk about driving a Ferrari, like, this is the reason why this software was like, oh, like this, it really is a fully functioning system. It's not just pattern software. It's truly literally the next best thing to an algorithm without automating the entries. And the reason why you don't necessarily need to automate the entries, if you're not someone who loves algo trading, if you're an algo trader, you're going to love this because it's the next best thing to automated systems. But if you're not an algo trader and you like discretionary trading as well, what's nice about this is you can preset everything up. You can set your time of days, your settings, your long short analysis. You can set the sizing. You can set everything up in advance. And then the performance metrics will show you this. And then what'll happen is that you can just pre-plan your trades because it's a pre-plan analysis. It basically plots everything in advance so you know exactly where to place your entries, where to place your stops and targets because you've controlled everything through the control center. And this is when I mean like an extensive user interface. It's got everything you could possibly need for a fully functioning system with performance metrics and back testing. Okay. Does everybody understand that? We have the ability to display the performance graphs. We can set the trade direction. We can set the type of settings that we're entering, the times. We can implement breaking evens and trails, the multiples on the settings and the zigzag settings. We can set your position sizing in here. We can change the size and the fonts of your tables for those of you that need them to be bigger or smaller. We can customize the metrics that you see. You don't have to see everything. If you only want to see the certain parts of the distribution and certain parts of your profit tables, you can, right? So if I go back and I say, okay, I only want to look at maybe like half of this stuff, or you can do that. You can show what you want to show. It doesn't need to have everything. If you don't want to see your drawdowns, your disposition, turn them off. If you just want to see your overall performance metrics, turn them on. And what you can do is, if let's say you're trading the NASDAQ on a Renko, or you're trading the NASDAQ on a range chart or a time-based chart, you can literally load them side by side and compare the metrics and see, okay, which one should I be trading on which time frame. You can also take an advantage you can also take an advantage of, like, let's say you know that we're in a trending condition. Let's say like the last 30-minute chart, let's say you're looking at profile charts, or you're looking at higher time frames, and for the past 5 days, the market's been doing this. Well, you can just turn on reversals. Like, just test the sizing reversals. Test it on a range chart, test it on a minute chart, test it on a tick chart, test it on a Renko chart, but just test the trend setups. You don't need to be fading reversals in a strong trending market. Right? These are the things that you'll have the advantage to do, because everything is customizable. You can choose the settings, choose the time, or excuse me, the strategy if you want to do reversal or trend, and then you can actually visually see that on your chart. Okay, so did that make sense? I tried to go quickly through the overview because I'm excited to showcase the demo and how this looks, and I think that we did the last webinar where we actually filmed a video on the demos when we did another release of a different tool. And we had a lot of great feedback. Everybody said they preferred the video demos over a live demo because it allows us to actually see it in motion, where we're not sitting there trying to control live markets. And so for the most part, what we've decided to do is we're going to play a video. I'm going to play videos of the software in motion. And you're going to, it's several minutes long. I'm going to play this. If you want me to stop it, or if you want to have a question, just put it in the chat box. And I'm just going to hit play, and we're going to watch how this is unfolding in real time. Okay. So we'll wait for it. This is a short setup, a reversal short. We pre-filmed this so that everybody can see this. What's cool is this is inside of an order block. So let me just pause this for a second. Okay. Pausing it. How many of you SMC guys in here? How many of you guys, SMC, higher time frame, multi-time frame charts, like looking at a lot of structure analysis? So here's a great example of us using, this is the gap SMC stuff, right, that a lot of you guys are using. But here's a break of structure, and then we got an order block. So a lot of people ask us, well, how can we enter trades? You can enter a lot of trades in different ways. The difference is this is providing a completely different way to enter with confirmation entries inside a software, with the ability to provide backtest results at the areas of interest. That's insane. Let me press play. So we're going to let this play out. You can see that the stops and targets are in advance plotted. Okay. And this automatically just showcases everything in advance, and, we'll give it time to play. You'll notice that this doesn't have very tight stops. Depends on the pattern, right? Some patterns will have a very tight stop. Some patterns will have a very loose stop. It just depends on the actual ABC correction or the type of math required for that market analysis. Not every pattern is created equal, because everything has different ratios and different market examples, right? But you'll get the picture as you start to see a couple different examples. This is a reversal trade that's coming out of a higher time frame area of interest. And this is a 1-minute chart. And this almost looks like probably a 30-minute chart. I'm not sure what Jim was using here, but it's a great example. So this is basically, just letting this run. And there's the target. Okay. So we'll leave this one here. Now it's going to kick into another reversal. This is a reversal long. You can change the risk and reward settings. Here's a great example. I'm going to pause it. So here's another great example of it coming out of an SMC order block. You could come out of a low volume node. You could come out of a supplier demand zone. You could come off anything, or you don't even need to use an order block. This is just examples because I know a lot of people are using levels and, doing a lot of price action inside of our community. So we wanted to kind of keep it a little bit relevant to a lot of you. But here's a great example of a pattern in a downtrend on a 2-minute chart, plotting the ABC corrective wave, plots the entry, plots the stop loss, plots the target inside of here. Does everybody understand that? This pattern, okay, this pattern is happening right here on a higher time frame chart. That pattern is happening here. What I love about this is that it doesn't require chalks or change of characters. It's all using ABC wave corrective mathematics. And this is, it also has backtesting engines. So it's not even just, hey, Sean, does this setup work? It's, you can see the profitability on the backtesting engine. So this is just a long coming out of this environment, right? This is happening here, which is happening here. Okay. And you don't need to use this with order blocks. We're just using it as a way to showcase how powerful this could be if you wanted to. For those of you in the SMC program, the GAP program, this would be an amazing opportunity for confirmation entries. There's the target. These moves, these trades produce huge trades. Here's another trade here, guys. So this, I think this is, not sure. You can see that there's no trade here. See, there's nothing here on the chart. This is now going to be a trending long. So this is not even in an order block. So for those of you that are like, well, shit, I missed the trade. I had this all planned out. You don't necessarily need to wait for just the SMC charts. You can get a trade in a trending environment. This popped up, produced a trend. Take a look at the different size. I'm going to pause it. Take a look at the different size of this pattern. Remember, a lot of traders are waiting here with limit orders. What if it doesn't come back to the order block? What if it doesn't come back to where you wanted to trade? And then all of a sudden this software basically forecasts, well, we didn't catch a reversal in here, but the market transitioned and we're going into a trend on the smaller time frame. Nothing wrong with taking the trend trade if the software produces an opportunity to participate. Watch what happens. So it takes the trade long. You can see the stop loss and the target are pre-configured. Give it a second. And this is a great example of we'd be waiting for a trade long in an order block and it never came down to our area. Gives it a lot of room. What I like about these trades is it gives a lot of room to move, especially for market structure trades and pattern trades, because it's meant for that. It's meant to let the market breathe so that you're not sitting there worrying about, you know, there's another example. There's an example of it. It's just, it plots everything in advance. Yeah, high volume nodes, breakouts. Could be, Steve. Yeah, a lot of times the market sits at a high volume node and it takes time to push, builds a position before it primes the pump. This is a great example of, take a look at the size of the prior pattern versus the size of this one. This is what I mean by every pattern is independent. This was a massive trade. This is a tight trade. You could trade a lot more size on a smaller pattern with smaller stops and targets. The software will tell you what to do. It's semi-automated to the best of its possible. Give it a second here. I disagree, Ben. It just depends on the time frame you're using, right? You might want to use it on a range chart. I'll show you an example on a different time frame. This is just for SMC guys, Ben. Like this is for if you're trading on a 1 minute time frame or a 2 minute chart. You could have completely different size stops and targets on a range chart or a Renko. It's all relative to the time frame you're trading it on. Yeah. And if you're trading on micros, wouldn't matter. Take a look at this, pausing it. You can see how it plotted the target. Like, see the size of this, completely different. It maps out the entry to the stop loss based off of this pattern, completely different size from that pattern. Does everybody see that? It's all independent, trade by trade. This is what I love about math-based systems. This is all to do with market structure and pattern recognition. There's the entry. These are all trend trades. These are all trades going in the market. If you sat here and if you're sitting there waiting on the sideline, shit, man, I had a buy limit order here. I spent all my time doing my analysis and I worked through the market and I did all my pre-market prep. The market came down, never filled me. Well, there was 3 trades back to back to back that happened in this push that could have happened if you were using this entry tool in combination with the primary system. Trending short. Here's a trending short. Here's a great example. Here's a great example. I'm pausing this. Boss break. A lot of traders are not entering on boss breaks. right? Because what we teach is we teach waiting for the retracement with internal structure, come back to the order block, right? However, the software is going to tell you what to do. This is not an SMC system. This is just showing you environments with regards to multi-time frames where these smaller time frame trades can happen. And this type of trade setup happened directly breaking major levels of structure. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to press pause. And this is a great example of a breakout trade that happened off an ABC correction. And you can see the stops and targets are in place automatically for that purpose. Now, these are all on a micro contract, MES, right? So, you know, you can trade size and you have the ability to have a little bit more breathing room on the stop. So you're not sitting there with a 6-tick stop. I'm going to disagree with a lot of people that you need to have a 5-tick stop if you're going to trade. I think you have a much higher degree of risk if you have very tight stops, as opposed to someone that allows the market to breathe. Statistically, I've just seen that over all of our traders. Yeah. So we'll let this run, we'll let this play. Here's another pattern, another example. Plotted a very tight pattern, plotted the target, plotted the stops, and the market's pumping. So here's an example of if you were waiting for a retracement after the boss break, waiting for the market to come back up to a area of interest, you didn't take this trade or you didn't take this trade. These are two trending trades that can happen that can be added in combination to other strategies, or just use it as a standalone system. Does everybody understand what's happening here? I'm just going through the demos, showing you reversals, showing you longs, showing you exactly. Here's another example of a huge pattern that plots the entry, tight stops and targets for this one. Much smaller ratio. It's a great example of the market just broke down off a key major level. The market went into a trending environment and you're capturing all of the impulse legs as the market's breaking down on structure. What I like about this is that you don't have to plant levels. You're not planning levels. You're not planning an area of interest. You're letting the market do what the market does. You're letting the market break down on structure. I felt that this was something so much more unique than just here's a level to trade. Here's what you do, right? Peter says, I don't see where it tells you to buy or sell. Let's find the next setup. We'll wait for the next one. I'll show you. So we'll wait for the next pattern. Right here, stop. So I'm going to stop it right here. So when this pattern creates, let me just back up a little bit. See, I'm going to pause it for a second. Right there, I'm going to pause it. As soon as you have this pattern drawn, right? This is sped up because we're using market replay for these examples. But if you're looking at this pattern, this is the plan to go short. So it's telling you, you need to short with a sell stop here. The market's trading here. It's telling you where the stop loss will be, and you can't see the target because it's at the bottom of the chart. But it's going to tell you as soon as it plots this pattern, this is for you, Peter, and anyone else that doesn't know where the entry is. The entry is directly right here. Before you're here, it's telling you, take a sell stop here, put your stop loss here, put your target down here where the targets are. Okay. And then as it gets into the market, you'll see there's the target because it plots the plan and it shifted the chart scale. This is a great example of just trending market setups. We already showed you reversals coming out of the areas of interest. And I think that's it. I think that's all the demo. Did everybody understand that? Right? Did everybody understand that? I mean, I can show you as trade after trade after trade. There's only two settings: reversals or trends. The software is going to do everything for you. You don't have to do anything. You just need to determine the time frame and the bar type you want to trade it on, and you can run the back test automatically when you load it on the chart. So let's ask this: who wants a free license? I always love asking the rhetorical question. I just like to make jokes. You know us guys, we always give a free license to everybody here for coming. We value your business. We like to gamify attendance and have a fun time with it. You know, if Lady Luck is on your side, I don't know, but we will see. I'm going to run a poll. And on 3, 1, 2, 3. So let me know if you want to be put into a draw for a free license. We run it, and you got to pick me. This is awesome, Brian says. Yeah, it really is awesome. I mean, how many of you guys can see while you guys are filling out this poll why I jumped on bringing this into our product line? Like, we are not the core developers of this. We are just the backbone to selling it and partnering with our dev teams, but I can speak to the quality of the code, and I can speak to the quality of the system because the same developer who built this built half of our product line. So there's a reason why we're putting it in our store, right? Yeah. So we've got 70% of you have participated. No, Thomas, that's a great example. So Thomas is asking, is this similar to the frequencies? No, frequencies are market harmonics. So those are like Gartley and bats and butterflies. These are all to do with ABC corrective waves and market patterns on ABC analysis. Yeah, it has to do with ABC correct analysis. Yeah. Yeah, it's and zigzags on reversals and trends, right? Yeah, great question. Yeah. Yeah. So I think we've good here. I'm going to give it a 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We're going to end the poll. And yeah, if you win, if you end up purchasing the software and you win, we'll refund the money. But you know, we've got several hundred people in here that you put in the draw, and Ashley will announce that on the emails going out. Okay. So how many of you guys thought that was pretty awesome? I mean, you know, from the most part, you know, the whole concept of let's just go back to these plans for a second, right? I think it's really important to discuss, like, if you're going to be trading this, the two things that I think are really, really important are the settings on the time frames, the markets, and ultimately just the backtesting engine. So when you look at the backtesting engine and you look at you know, this section right here, this takes away all the guessing. If you put it on a bar type and a time frame and you're like, I wonder if this works, you don't have to guess. It's going to map out all of the stats. How many of you guys trade the S&P? How many of you guys trade the S&P? I know it's a pretty vague question, but how many of you guys are looking at the S&P? Yeah. All right. So at the risk of not taking your guys' time on a demo, we already filmed the video. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show you what I've done. I've got an actual chart of the S&P here. I've actually got a workspace that we've built for everybody. So everybody that's in here that ends up getting the software is going to how do I say this? Get this workspace. This is there's two settings here. I'm going to tell you. We have it on the NASDAQ on a 40 tick range bar, and then we have it on the S&P on an 8 tick range bar. Okay, what you're seeing here is two tabs. You've got a trending tab and you've got a reversal tab. So we have it set to two different settings for this example. And you're going to see that based off of the settings, right, you're going to be able to actually see the performance right now on these markets. So I'm just going to go over the last, I think I have 20 days. So here's a great example. I'm going to look at the NASDAQ first, then we'll go to the S&P. So the NASDAQ here, this is the NASDAQ, right? And the way that we structured this, okay, and we'll go over here and show you these couple patterns here, okay? So you're going to see the trail dots. You see up here, this was a long here that fired off, but then you see it got stopped out on the break even. We have a trailing stop set in place so that when the pattern happens, it squeezes price. That's just the way this workspace is set up. So this was this is the entry here, boom. Okay. And then this would have been the target down here, right? And then this one here was the entry. The stop would have been down here. But as the market goes a certain amount of distance, it trails the stop to break even right away. And this would have been a break even trade, right? This was a break even trade. This was a win. This was a break even trade. We have this set up on the NASDAQ just because there's so many trades per day that let me just show you the statistics. So if you were using this right now on the NASDAQ on a 40 tick range bar, which is about a 1 minute chart, right? It's about a 1 minute time frame. You're going to see that I have this set up on the trending tab because I'm using the trending setting. And we're basically looking at longs and short with about a 1.2 risk reward ratio. Okay. And then basically this is looking at the session time. Here, this is the time it's taking the trade. So it's trading the morning session. Okay. And here's a great example of the overall. It took 55 trades. Trailing stop is enabled at 2.5 the ATR. What that's saying is that after 2.5 of the average true range, if the market's not pumping in a certain direction, it's going to move the stop to trailing, and it's going to kick in the trailing stop. Now, you don't need to use a trailing stop or break even, but this is how we set this up. This has 55 trades on this chart because it's probably loading about 30 days. Let's go in here and take a look at that. So it's loading about 30 days of data, right? So over the last 30 days on this market example, it's taken a total of 55 trades. And the average win-loss ratio, the win-loss ratio is 87%. It's making on average, it's got a 2.5 profit factor. It's got an average of $289 a day, and it's taking close to 2.8 trades a day, right? For this. It's giving you your MFP, but take a look at the distribution of profit. It's profitable every day of the week except for Friday. Low volume day maybe, or just the way that the back test ran, but it's showing you the distribution, right? And it's also showing you that we had 5 drawdowns over the course of the month. And it's showing you the expense of those drawdowns, which I think is invaluable. I think it actually calculates. A lot of people look at the profit of a system, but they don't really look at the exposure to risk. This does both. Now we can come in here and we can map out this Ferrari. I mean, I don't want this to be a demo on user manuals today, but for the most part, this is a great example of the NASDAQ on this chart. And you can see like there's patterns everywhere as you go. And, you know, you're going to see times when there's patterns here. Like take a look at this day here, right? Like this was there was a break-even trade in the morning. Here, there's actually 2 break-even trades back to back. So this took a trade break-even. This took a trade break-even. And then we went into a trending scenario here, or just pumped and just took back-to-back trades. And this took a winning here, and then took a break-even here, and then a break-even here. I mean, however you want to set the break-evens up, you can do that. Right here was a stop loss. So in all fairness, I mean, you're going to have a stop once in a while, and there was a stop here that happened. This was a break even. This was a profitable trade this morning, right? This is a break even trade this morning. So long story short, I think you get the picture. If I go to reversals, here's a great example of reversals. This one has a little less performance than the trending market on this market, but it took less trades, 32 trades. Here's the thing though. If you're trading the NASDAQ on the reversals or the trends, remember they're 2 separate entries. So you could literally have, and this is what I loved about it, is that you could hedge. So you could run a hedge. And as long as both are profitable, you know your hedge is profitable. So let me repeat this. A good question is someone says, well, what do you do in a trending market? Trade trends. What do you do in a range bound market? Trade range. Okay. If you know that both of these are running profitable metrics across the last month, then you run one long or you run one trend and one reversal simultaneously on 2 separate charts. And now you're hedged against market conditions. Does everybody understand that? Yeah, but you could assign an account. You could assign one account, Lisa, to a trade on reversals. You could assign one account to, well, hold on a second. I'm not saying hedging the same account. Don't confuse that. If you have 6 accounts, you run 3 accounts on reversals. You run 3 accounts on trends. You understand that? So that way you don't have to, or if you have 2 accounts, let's say you're running 2 accounts, one of them is a trend account, one of them is a reversal account. You're not hedging. You're literally trading a different strategy on a different account. Does that make sense? Many people do it all the time. And that way you have one running across different scenarios. Now let's take a look at the S&P, because the S&P is, whoa, like real good metrics on the S&P, guys. And it's just the nature of this time frame. You might find better metrics than us, but you know, we've been able to find some pretty good ones. And it really just depends on the time frame. This is on an S&P 8 range chart. You might want to run it on a 4 tick. You might want to run it on a 12 tick, 10 tick. But you know, this took, I'm looking over the last 30 days. Okay, this is the last 30 days. And it's a, let's take a look here. Let's take a look at the reversal too. So this is reversals. We'll do reversals first. And this is a reversal strategy. So we're looking at reversals. 43 trades over the last 30 days, an 88% win rate, right? You're looking at 20 days traded, 2.3 trades a day, averaging $240 a trade, right? It's pretty good. You know, your average trade is anywhere between, you know, depending on the trades, 17 minutes per trade, depending on the time and speed of the market. But look at the distribution of profit, day of week. It's profitable every day of the week over the last month, which is great. It's showing you even distribution to wins and losses. And there was 5 drawdowns on the last month, and the max drawdown was about $700. The average drawdown was about $575. This is insane because it allows you to plan your risk metrics around prop trading, right? It allows you to say, okay, well, what's your sizing, right? This is what I loved about this. And we can go back and take a look. Like this was a break even here. It just didn't pump. Depends on how you set the trailing stop. Here was a great example of a huge ratio. This would have been a huge pattern because the size of this math, but there was the entry and it just exploded down. Boom. Right. And because we have a very tight trail on this, we have very, very tight risk on this. This is just how we set this up. There's many ways to set this up, right? Many ways. Here's a great example of a stop loss and then right back to a win. Here's a great example of a breakdown, fake out, got the stop, automatically entered for the long, and then pumped it. Does that make sense? You can see the trailing stop kicked in. Huge win, right? So at the end of the day, like I'm not here to fudge anything. If you get a stop, you get a stop, but the system's going to allow the trades to happen. Here's another example of a win, right? Where it plots the pattern. There's the entry, very tight trail, plots through. That's why we have this on range charts, because it allows us to squeeze the trailing stops very quickly. You could do the same on a Renko. You'd have to set this up differently on time charts, right? Now let's take a look at the trending. Now this may just because of the market conditions, but the trending was massive. Like the trending settings took 80 trades, 22 days traded with an average of almost 4 trades a day, averaging about $370 a day. But the win-loss ratio is 90% hit rate, and the overall breakdown of the distribution was it's profitable every day, right? And it's telling you 12 wins, 2 losses, 12 wins, 3 losses, 16 wins total, 17 wins, 2 losses. Like this is just the win-loss ratio here, and then the winning percentage on a distribution. And this is telling you the drawdown. The drawdown is very, very tiny, like on this setup, right? Like the average drawdown is $400. It really just depends on the ratio. So Ben, every pattern is different because you have it set up. If you want to do sizing, right? If you want to do the sizing in here, you can go into do the sizing. I think it's not sure exactly where this is, guys, but
it's by day of week.
Day of
it's
week.
Monday. So you click those and it just cycles through the options.
Right. Yeah. So it's just day of week. You can do sizing on this. We'll get into settings after, right, guys? We'll get into all that, but that'll be the AMA tomorrow. We'll go through all the settings. We'll go through the breakdown of this, but for the most part, guys, I just wanted to show you that this is completely at your disposal, and you have the ability to run this on trending and reversal markets. I really like the idea of running a hedge on 2 different accounts, because that way, if the market decides to pop and start trending, you can trade both of them. But I mean, this has got anything over 1 is profitable on a profit factor, and this is over the last month of data. 2 different markets, 2 different bar sizes, and we're talking lots of trades here. We're not talking, you're not at a loss for trades. You're literally, 80 trades, 55 trades. This was trending. These are trending. So if you're looking at the NASDAQ to the S&P, 80 plus 55, that's 130 trades just on the trending in the last month. It is prop ready. It's 100% ready for prop trading. And this is a workspace we built. You don't have to build this. Like you can use this plug and play right out the gates. You can literally just let it run and use it in conjunction with any SMC stuff you're doing, or if you're trading it independently. It's just really, really awesome stuff. Right now, remember, like here's the cool part. I just showed you a workspace built for range trading, yet I also showed you the demo on SMC. So this is where you get a chance to be able to use it for both. I would arguably think that you should set up a range workspace and run it on different charts, as well as use it as a timing tool for anybody trading multi-time frame structure analysis. So for those of you in our GAP program, I think it would be very widely well used for timing entries in areas of interest, as well as catching breakouts and trend trades in between the moves. So a lot of times you're sitting on the sidelines. I know a couple of people are saying, hey, I want more trades. Great. You could implement this while you're waiting. Yeah, absolutely. Give me a yes if that makes sense, guys. I hope the demo was clear. We've done an hour for the presentation. I know a lot of people want to make sure we get through the day and all that stuff. How many of you guys liked it? You guys think this is pretty cool stuff? Yeah. Yeah, I think it's fantastic. Yeah, it's really cool. So here's the thing, guys. You know, I'm going to basically let the winners know once we announce the winner. I want to give a big shout out to Ben. Ben is one of our developers. He's mastermind behind the wheel on the code side of it. He works with us on a lot of products, and he was ultimately responsible for coding the Soundwave. So for those of you that are wondering and using the Soundwave, he's the developer for the Soundwave as well. So he's real great, and really like working with him, and he's just a great asset to the team. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to transition now to the pricing so that we can give you a huge discount on the pricing. And then we'll go into Q&A. We'll go into a poll so we can get any assistance needed for installations. And we also have an AMA. There's an AMA that we're going to be doing. We'll talk about that in a second. But for the launch of this, guys, it's $9.95. It's 50% off on the discount. And it's for 2 computers. It's all inclusive with workspaces, multiple licenses. We've got user documentation as well as workspaces built out for plug and play. So literally, you could literally install this tonight, and then you can run that workspace tonight in the overnight or tomorrow. It's ready to trade. You don't have to set up anything. It's ready to go. For those of you that are looking to integrate it into SMC or anything of the nature, then what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to set it up on a timing chart. If you want to use minute or range or Renko, that's fine. And I'll get Jim and Ashley to post the links in here for the purchase. And yeah, we'll be good. So what I'm going to do here, give me a second. I think Jim's here. Maybe he's got an internet connection. Jim, you there, brother?
I am here. Yes,
Perfect.
indeed.
So there's the link for that, guys. You can purchase directly through the link. There's definitely support for it, Pat. You can do an installation. If you need a one-on-one install, we can do that too. Tomorrow, we're going to be going over a deep dive on the product. So the AMA, let's do this. Oh, I forgot to mention, we implemented a new policy. So this is brand new, and we're gonna put it out there for you guys. We have a 100% love it or swap it satisfaction promise moving forward with ARC. So satisfaction guaranteed. If you either don't like it or you feel that it's not really meant for your style, we can replace it with a swap in our store for something of equal or lesser value. There will be some conditions that will apply depending on the products that you buy, but for the most part, it's a 100% satisfaction guarantee. So I think this will take a lot of the guesswork around. A lot of people say, oh, is there a trial or can I demo it and all that? We don't do that, but you have no risk here. We have over 75 products on Ninja, and there's no risk for you here, right? So this is a great example of that. Right. So this starts today moving forward on all of the products that we release. And if you have any questions on prior products, just let Ashley know, Ronald. And yeah, you guys can contact via support. So this is something that's awesome that's put in motion as well. And the AMA is for tomorrow. Now the AMA is only for the people who buy it. We want to make sure that it's only for those that are using the tool. We want a dedicated training session for people that are using the product that want to be able to get the best training on it, go through the documentation, the setups, the workspace, the user documentation. Jim and Jeff and Ben will be there to you, and they'll be there to help you guys tomorrow in the AMA. So we're going to be running that tomorrow in the afternoon. And then we'll also provide you with the email for that so that you guys can get a recording of that AMA so that you can use that as additional training. And that way you can go over the workspaces. And Jeff and all of our dev teams will be there. Yeah. So hopefully that was, something you guys enjoyed. Yes. Did you learn?
The website seems to be taking its sweet time. I don't know if it's a host
Maybe a lot of-
issue or what, but we'll give it a minute here to get running. So
Let's talk to Ashley.
yeah.
Nonetheless, guys, we'll get you squared away. Did you guys enjoy the event? Give me a yes. No, this won't slow Ninja down. Yeah, this won't slow Ninja down. It's not running order flow tick data. It's all pre-configured. Yeah. Yeah. So I'm going to run a poll, guys. And the reason I need to run these polls, there's two things. We run these polls so that we can ultimately assist you in support. We only have a dedicated team that is available. And we need to be able to make sure that our team is available to help you with installations, email questions, support, licensing, you name it. Plus, we need to prepare accordingly for tomorrow's AMA. So we ask this, you know, in a way to kind of just gauge, A, are you in? B, do you need any assistance? C, if this isn't for you, it's not for you, right? So if you could do me a favor and just let us know, I'm going to run a poll. Please do me the kindness, since I've been here presenting, I'd like to be able to help you. If you could just answer the poll and let us know if this is for you. If you have questions, we need to be able to know how we're going to help you. That way we can get you going, get you set up, get you installed, get you access to it. If you want to test different timeframes and fractals, please do, but just install the current workspace so that we can get you up and running. And yeah, I think this will be great. For those of you that are not sure, or if you have questions, my team is going to follow up with you via email. We're going to basically pull your emails and we're going to follow up with you with emails and phone calls just to touch base if you need any assistance on that. But for the most part, just communicate via support. Yeah. Excellent. Lindsay's asking, is there any yeah, the links. Yeah, we're on the link right now. We're fixing it. So as sir, can you send? Yeah, we'll also send the link via email. WordPress is down, so website's down. Stand by. So too many people hitting the website at once. You know, the crash, everybody's going for the purchase. So either way, guys, we'll get it up and running. Everything's going to be happening, moving and grooving. And either way, we'll send you a link via email with a recording to the event so you guys can have access to that as well. I'm sure a lot of you are going to watch the recording. As for an auto trader, we haven't had that discussion yet, but based off the fact that the backtesting component's already there, I think it would be very well received as an algo. I'm sure I could speak to Ben, the partner on this, and if we do run it as an algo, we can discuss anybody that bought the indicator. We haven't mapped out an algo yet, but I'm assuming if anybody bought the indicator and we do release an algo, I'm sure we can extend a coupon for anybody as well. Yeah, so good question, Larry. If we do decide to run it as an algo, I mean, we're really good with that. You know, we really like to give promos and discounts where we can, so I'm sure there won't be an issue on that. So for those of you that have questions, or if you're not sure yet, we're going to reach out with recordings, emails. If you could communicate with support via that, that'd be great. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it. If we can post the link again in here before we shut down tomorrow's AMA. If you want to be a part of that AMA, which I truly think if you're going to be using this, you need to be there. You need to purchase. It's not open to everybody. So this is a fair warning that we need to purchase the software in order to be in that AMA. This is closed for all the people using the software. Yeah. Yeah. We'll be sending out an email here post webinar with the recording. So don't worry. And you'll get it with a link to purchase. Yeah. 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 WordPress is down across all WordPress. So actually it's just talked to WordPress support and WordPress is down. So as soon as the website's back up and running on that, you'll be able to purchase. Yeah. Partner access to the AMA, Richard? Not sure what you mean, partner access? Yeah, Ashley's saying that WordPress is down. They're on it. Just give the link about 20, 30 minutes, which is fine. Everybody needs a break. We've been around the screen since this morning. Market open, right? This is a good time to go stretch the legs, grab some coffee, get some food, go outside, walk the dog, come back after dinner, and we'll get you set up for tomorrow. It's not an issue on that. Yeah. And if anybody needs any assistance, you can send an email in and we'll definitely handle it there. Yeah. So Barbara, everybody else, have a great day. Fred, thanks for being here, guys. Jeff, Jim, team. We'll get you guys squared away. And thanks for being here. The Structure Boss is an amazing piece of software. And the fact that it's backed by performance metrics just kind of validates without me even having to sell it. It's just so sexy. So it works on Forex, Willie. Absolutely. It works on every market, every time frame. You just need to put it on whatever bar type and market you want to look at. It'll tell you the profitability. Yeah. Yeah. It'll tell you the profitability before you ever trade it. Yeah. Thanks, guys. Have a fantastic afternoon. Yeah. Bye for now. Enjoy the rest of your day.